Okay. Hi, Monica. Hi, Marit. Hi, Hilde. Hi, Marie. Maria Marie, Hanne, Julie, Ursula. How are you all doing?
Hi, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank God. Still alive, still kicking.
Happy to hear it.
Yeah, me too. It's still happening. So, what are we going to talk about today? Anybody? No? Nothing? Well, we'll figure it out. Let's just start. So we're at the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, your host, broadcasting live from Los Angeles. And today's topic, we will figure it out. It's going to appear to us. Excuse me one moment. I'm trying to set up my phone camera. Doesn't want to really cooperate. Okay, I got it. Well, normally what we do is we start with a short meditation, about 15 minutes. And the meditation allows us to get centered and come back to this point, come back to the center of ourselves. And where it's quiet, uneventful. When I say uneventful, I don't mean like it's boring, but it's still. We come to this place of stillness. Um, oh, Marie says, Zarathustra, last academy you told that you will be talking about shamanism or something like that. Okay, I could talk about shamanism. Very well. So let's just relax, take a deep breath, and sink into this moment, sink into the center ourselves. And let go, allow the thoughts, whatever is going on in your mind, whatever emotions are maybe stirred up in you during the day, or something has happened, bothered you, you're feeling some emotional stuff, or your mind's busy with whatever is going on in your life. Let's just, for a few moments, let all of it go. And sink in our own center. Take a deep breath and relax. And if your mind is very busy, then I recommend you follow your thoughts to the source. See, where do your thoughts come from? You can just follow them back to the source, and almost immediately your mind becomes quiet. If you observe that, if you look into it and go back. Slowly, slowly come back. Slowly come back. Um, I don't know if I can talk about shamanism today. I think we'll do it next Wednesday. Um, sorry, I have a hard time talking right now. So when you begin to dive deeper this into this work, some people would say into this business, into this work, this spiritual work, this world of awareness, of self-awareness, of this journey of coming back into an awakened state. And parts of us are waking up into the reality of who we are. And in this transition of what is happening, of waking up to a some greater part of our own existence, that in the beginning it kind of appears or feels like it's something else. It feels like their God consciousness, it has this feeling that it's separated from you. It's something like you have to get to it. You have to work towards getting to it. And when sometimes you have a deeper understanding of it, later we have a tendency to come and say, well, I got it, I had it, I got it, and then I lost it. So I don't know how many of you have thought that way, or you've gone through that experience of telling yourself, I got it, and then I lost it. It's a very common thing that happens to this spiritual seeker. A sense of being very close, or sense of the oneness or getting it, and also in the same time a sense of losing it, that it's gone. So it appears to be that there is a struggle and a sort of effort and on this journey into becoming self-realized, or coming to the freedom. But this freedom that we also, or this self-realization that we're trying to get to and come to it, is really a discovery of a place or a space or a state of that I am happy and I'm fulfilled, and there's no suffering in it, or there's no sense of loneliness or separation or emotional breakdowns. So it's blissful, it's happy. And basically that's what it is. I mean, wanting to be in a place that we're happy and it's free from fear and suffering, it's fear of worry, it's free of a lot of mind activities that the mind is just going crazy of, well, what's going to happen, or what's going to be like for me in the future, or what is happening with my partner, and does he love me or does she love me, or where is this going to go to, or all these doubts, or what's going to happen if my partner leaves or dies, or what's going to happen to me. So basically all of it comes to this feeling that there is a me, there's an I, and there's the happiness, or this place of peacefulness that this me needs to attain it and get to it at one point and sustain it to stay in that place. So then, it kind of, it starts and it's going in that direction. But in the meantime, we don't really realize it, that, and it's kind of by design. It's not even, it's your fault or my fault or anybody's fault. It's not somebody's fault. It's that you don't know, or we don't know, that this thing that we're trying to get to and we're trying to get established in it, it's this doubt or this struggle or this what appears to be is happening inside the same thing that we're trying to get to. It's like, you did you understand this part of it? It's like this thing that we want to get to is, and this struggle and this sense of separation and this story that we want to find and get to this place of pure love and bliss and tranquility and balance, this place that there's no suffering in it, there's no more of a struggle in it, whether you want to call it to get to the 5D, to fifth dimensional state, or you want to call it to become one with God, to come to self-realization, or the oneness, ultimate bliss, happiness. This thing and this desire and this struggle, all of it is in the same thing. This place that we want to get to, and we're trying to get there, is the same background, the place we want to get to, it's the same background as what is motivating and stirring up and creating this desire to get to. It's all in the same thing. They're all the one. And we don't see that. We don't separate it. We're not capable of recognizing that part of it. That actually the same thing that's stirring you up to go forward, to get to somewhere, is the same thing that you're looking for. The same source of the stir is the same thing that you're looking for. We don't realize that. It's hard for us to see it. So it constantly creates this feeling like there is somewhere that I have to go to, somewhere I need to get to. There's something I need to accomplish. But the same thing that creates that feeling inside you is the same thing that you want to get to. So in a way, okay, we can tell that God, consciousness, God is in a way, is like a trickster. It's like a joker. It's like something is tricking you, is fooling you to look for something. But it's the same thing who's creating it. It's in itself. So then it creates this illusion, it creates this sense, because what happens is it kind of manifests itself into space, and it creates, in this manifestation that creates the space, it creates time. So there is time and space. So all of a sudden there's a duration created. There's a link of time there. And in this link of time, I'm trying to get to a place. So then the story starts, because it creates a story out of it. But all of it is really happening into the same thing. Because also, in a way, there's no story and there's nowhere you're getting to, and there's nothing you're going to get, because all of it is right here, and it's self-generating this story out of itself, but none of it does exist. It's a hoax. It's bullshit. It's a non-existing thing that kind of creates this as a feeling, it creates it in time space, because it creates dimensions. And now there's something to get to and something to achieve. And so, yeah, in a way, it gives you purpose in life to live for something, because you get these glimpses of this vastness and this love and this place, but it's temporarily, it just appears and then it disappears. So because it appears and it disappears, it creates this illusion that you think it's somewhere. You have to get to it. So it kind of fools you. It's like a carrot is dangling in front of you, and every once in a while it gives you a little bit of taste of it, and then it just being pulled away. So that's what it does all the time. And that's how it functions the world, and creates a history, creates life, creates death. It creates the story of my life and the story of the world. So in this, like, it appears, it looks like it, it looks like it's very glamorous, and and it's very pretty, and I mean, it's also very ugly. It's got both sides, but and it's something like, oh, I want this, I want more, and it's yummy and it's delicious, and I want to get more. So it kind of pulls you into itself, expands itself. But there's a point, like in your process, evolutionary process, or in here and now in this life, you get to this point that you're like fed up with it. It's just, you're sick of it, and you have exhausted everything, exhausted yourself. You just can't do it anymore. And there's a moment, like, you give it up. You're just not interested anymore, and it's very sincere. It really happens. And in that giving up, all of a sudden your attention is going in this direction, and boom, you realize, like, wow, it's all of it is right here. There's no outside. The outside is not even existing. It's all here. All these other stuff was just sort of non-existing. It just created this senses, these feelings, these emotions, like there was something, but there is nothing, because it creates time and space. It just creates that illusion. It just expands things. It's like a hologram. And in that expansion, these senses that we have, they get entertained, they get activated, they get stimulated. So this is going to happen over and over again, over, repeatedly, 1,000,000 times, 10,000,000 times, to a point that you got to get exhausted. And then, boom, you just stop. It's like you kind of get detached with this mental activity, mental projection that the brain is creating, it's projecting all the time. And you disconnect from it. And in that disconnection, all of a sudden, you get a glimpse of the projector, the one that was projecting it. You notice that, wow, the whole thing is being projected from inside myself. And then you see the projector, and then you go beyond the projector, and then all of a sudden you're just like, you're just in this deep, quiet place. And yes, it's bliss, and it's still. But bliss is only a word. And then you see in that moment that it's completely effortless, and I mean, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. It's here. It's always been here. But it was kind of tricking you in a way. In a way, it's a word, tricking. But it does require a certain kind of maturity. There's a spiritual maturity. Somehow it appears to be that it does require an exhaustion, that you're exhausted, you're tired, you just can't do it anymore. You have exhausted all the avenues available to you. And then in this process that is happening, there is also entertainment, because you are in this process, and you may develop spiritual powers. Some sort of spiritual power comes to you, like you can communicate telepathically, or it appears you can manifest things, or it appears like you have healing abilities, and certain powers you have, certain stuff, it comes and goes. But you don't want to just settle for that, because the whole thing is deeper than that. You don't want to just settle for it. You want to keep going. And the parts of it may be very dull. You can be on this path. There are times like it's very boring. Nothing's going on. There's just boredom. It's not interesting. It's not fun. It's not attractive. And that's a part of it too, that boredom. Because it's just, in a way, it's tricking you. Tricking you from recognizing it in a way. But it's just playing. It's being playful. It's playing by itself. It's entertaining itself. I mean, it's a paradox It is a paradox because the mind can't understand it. The mind is only is understanding in black and white or good and bad, or it's either this or it's either that. It cannot be both simultaneously. Both of them are happening, but in the meantime, nothing is happening. The mind cannot understand that because there is no such a thing in our physical reality or most of our experiences of something is happening but also it's not happening. That doesn't make sense to the logical brain. Yeah. What do you mean? It's happening, but it's not happening. What does that mean? That's not going to do anything for me. I want something that's going to do something for me. What's in it for me? So you may get to that part in this path that you hit this boring period. But you have to go through that boring period. That's a part of the deal. It's like a journey. It's like you're going through this road, you're going from, you're going on a pilgrimage and you're going to India or you're going somewhere on this pilgrimage. And in this pilgrimage, there's a lot of ups and downs and turns and twists and storms and blizzards and boredom and sickness and hunger and being tired and being happy and sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of stuff in it. But you have to hang in there. You can't give up. And keep using the teachings to bring the attention back, bringing your attention back to the source, because it's really not out there. It's like the source goes out there and wants to be entertained in the 3D world, and you gotta grab it by the ear and bring it back. Okay, come back. Let's see from where is it being projected? What is it that's creating it? Where is its source? So the more you do that, the more you start recognizing it that this whole thing is self-generated. It generates from one point. So you bring it back, you come back to that place, everything becomes calm and quiet. At first, maybe it's very busy, but every time you just come back there, it starts getting really quiet. It gets very quiet. And then you just get involved and go out there and it gets crazy again. And you kind of want to calm it down in the craziness. You're hoping like you can create an environment around yourself of your life that is harmonious, it's quiet, it's peaceful. And sometimes it works for a while and then it falls apart because it's just not there. It cannot be sustained. It cannot be tamed in the outside world. It's only short term, for a very short period of time. Then it gets stirred up. Something's going to stir it up. Some news, some event. So again, you just come back. You come back into this center and you fall back and you're here. And what it does is slowly, you're just going to discover yourself that you're not interested in the noise. It's like there's a lot of blah, blah, blah noise in the world with the news and the stories and the thing happening. And it's the same story. If you look through it, it is the same story that has been happening. There's nothing new to it. It's kind of like same shit, different flies. The shit is the same shit. The flies may be different. So last year, 2 years ago, it was COVID, and and it was so da da da, and the virus and pandemic and blah blah blah. And it was like so real, and so it killed people, it destroyed people. And this year is the war, and and shortage, and there's going to be shortage of fuel, and it's so real, and it's really happening, and it's killing people. And then maybe the drought, and next year, I don't know what's in the menu next year. They haven't posted the next year menu yet, but I promise you, after the war is over, and there's going to be another crisis. There's not going to be another stuff, or maybe this war is going to lead it to something else, and something else is going to be there. And the year after that is going to be another story. It's never going to end. There's always going to be some really major story happening. And which is entertaining to the mind. It's entertainment. It keeps you entertained. You get involved. It takes you out of boredom. There's excitement in it, even if it's in a negative way. It's I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I heard about the aliens, and there's contacts, and I'm really interested. I'm really excited. I want to know what is happening, or I want to know what's going to happen with the pandemic, or I don't know if China is going to attack Taiwan, or I want to know what's going to happen 10 years from now as far as the food shortage or drought. Or I'm very interested. It keeps you involved into the 3D world. It keeps everything alive. But when you are investigating, you going deeper, you find out that this projector that is projecting everything and it creating these things is happening from inside yourself. I'm not saying you're aware of creating the drought or whatever. It's not like individual person is doing it, because that's another trap. I'm talking about the recognition of this grand projector, this part of the lila that is creating this thing. Because it's basically shut down when you're sleeping and you're not dreaming. When you sleep and you're not in a dream space, dream state, it's gone. Yeah, you can say, well, my conscious mind, it's not activated. it's gone. And when you wake up, in maybe 4 or 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your life, it's non-existing. It doesn't even exist. You're just quiet. You're in tranquility of yourself. And then the story comes. Then you remember it again. It recreates itself. It re-manifests itself. It comes back into your field of vision of your existence, and it becomes real. So if you are attentive and you're paying attention, at one point you recognize this. At one point you recognize that this is the same story that has happened. The time, the era appears that it's changing, it's become modern world, but the story is the same story that has been happening. And also the story of your life. And if you're watching yourself, you're watching, you were in high school and you were looking at people looking older, and then you again went into your 20s and you went into 30s, and now you're pregnant, you're having children, you got career, then you go to your 40s, 50s, and then you start seeing your hair is getting gray, and you're dressing differently, you're dressing more like conservative, and you have slowed down and you don't do certain things. You're falling into the role of that era of the age you have. So you're 40 years old, you fall into that, and you're 50, you fall into that, and you're acting that way. But if you look around, everybody else is acting that way in your age category. Then you're going to your 60s or 70s, and you can see with women, like as they're getting older, like from like 30 to 40, all of a sudden they start cutting their hair short, and they're going to 50, the hair gets short. And so as you're going forward, you can see like the masses are doing the same thing. They fall into their role of their age in that era of that 10 years. What they're doing, they fall into that category and they do that thing. And you think it's your life, you're living this life. But you don't realize that this is a script, is being repeated, and it's been happening throughout thousands of years. And there's no different. It's the same story. You're going through this loop. You don't realize that. That the life you're living, it's been lived before. With the stories. It's just the setting changed. It's a modern setting with the cell phone and rockets and jets, but it's the same story. The story hasn't changed. It's only the setting has changed. The appearance changes. But there's no evolvement as far as the emotions go, as far as the thoughts go. The thoughts are just as busy, maybe busier, and we haven't evolved with our emotions. We still easily get jealous and angry and possessive and greedy. Nothing has changed. So you can fall into that again. excuse me. You can't fall into the same loop over and over again and expect a different kind of results. You can't do the same thing, do the same repeated thing, and expect like something's going to change. It's going to be the same story. So at one point you have to catch it. It's like Groundhog's Day. You've seen that movie Groundhog's Day? Yeah. So it keeps repeating itself. It's a repetition of the same story that's been going on ever since. So this is the trick. I mean, if you look at all the modern technology and see how everything has advanced, right, in past 100 years with the industry and then the electronics and the digital era, right? But how, how much human emotions advanced? I mean, nothing has happened in that area. I mean, zero in evolvement of our emotions. If 10 minutes from now you're going down the street with your partner and he starts flirting with another woman, you're going to get jealous and emotional. I mean, rightfully, because it's disrespectful. Or, if you don't get your thing, I don't know, you didn't get your share of inheritance, your sister got more or your brother got more, you're pissed off, you're angry. Or whatever, you didn't get your work promotion, or you didn't get enough attention from your someone. They didn't pay attention to you. Or someone was rude to you. Your emotions are going to be stirred up exactly they were 100 years ago and 200 years ago and 300 years ago. Nothing has advanced in that area. And nothing has advanced in the recognition of human thinking process. It was a busy mind before, and it wasn't recognized, it wasn't being witnessed, and it's a busy mind now and it's not being witnessed. It was greedy before and wanted to dominate or kill people or destroy people or bring people to slavery and dominate over others for its own gain. And it's the same mind. It didn't go anywhere. It's still doing the same thing it was doing before. It looks different, but that's what's happening right now. So unless you catch it and recognize it, that you're in this script, and you're one of these characters who's going through the loop of doing the same thing that your dad did and your grandfather did and your grandfather did. Nothing has changed except the outside setting. It appears it's a modern setting, but it's the same story repeating itself. Unless you catch that and recognize it of the source of it. Where is it coming from? What's projecting this story? Let me catch this. There's no freedom. It's just going to keep repeating itself because that's what it's been doing ever since the ever since. It's nothing new. And it will go through the eternity, forever, unless you catch it. And once you become aware of it, you catch it, then you'll know what to do. I don't even have to tell you what to do. It's an automatic recognition of, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Uno momento. Yeah. So a lot of times you cut off the noise because you no longer want to be entertained by the noise, unless, consciously you're bored and you want some entertainment, but it's not grabbing you on and dealing with you in an unconscious way that you're not aware of it. You're fully aware of what's going on. You can't buy into any of it. You may not even want to get married. You may not even want to have children. Because you're out of the loop. You're not going to repeat what your parents did, or what your society does, or what your church or your community does. It's not even you're doing it consciously. You have awakened into a dream, a sleepy pattern of reincarnation, a sleepy pattern of life. You have awakened to that. So automatically you don't want to be a part of it. It happens automatic. You don't even do. It's like, wait a minute. I don't want to be asleep anymore. I'm not a part of this anymore. I'm not buying it anymore. This is not the real story. So then you're pulled more inside, and then the juice is there. So you're tapping into the juice, and it's like, wow. Wow. This is groovy. Wow. And then that becomes your source of, you're feeding off of that. That will become your power source, because you need a power source, something that powers you up. And that's what's happening right now for us. Tiny percentage of human beings on this planet. Small. It's very small. But it doesn't matter. I mean, don't worry about saving the world. Don't go there. It doesn't need saving at all. Believe me, it's in very good hands. It's like a computer generated thing that it keeps recreating itself. You don't need to worry about it, because it just doesn't even exist to save it. You don't need to save it, because it's just a projection. It's non-existing. Once you start to see what's real, you realize what's not real. So it's not like you don't have compassion. I mean, you see people, characters in the dream are suffering and they're going through it, and of course you have compassion for them. But you're free of the story. You have freed yourself. You're no longer a part of the story. Means you're not afraid of death. You've freed yourself. Your number one worry thing that always been hunting you from the time you were born is death. Because if you're 10 years old, you're old. If you're 5 years old, you are old. If you're 2 years old, you're old. If you're 1 year old, you're old. If you're 30 days, you were born 30 days ago, you're 30 days old. You got 1 foot next to death. Even if you're 1 day old, you're still old. Because you're always walking on this edge. Death is like a shadow here, is always going wherever you're going. At any moment, you can fall down and hit yourself against the cement, or something happen and you die. That is following you from the time you were born. From the very time you were born, it's a clock ticking. And this thing is there, waiting to take you. But once you recognize the story, you realize that such a thing of dying doesn't exist. It's not even there. So you're free, you become free from your biggest fear. Because this has been with you from the very moment you were born. It's chasing you. And then, of course, from our root chakra, safety, security, money, where am I going to live, how am I going to take care of myself, it's all related to death, the fear of death. That's what happens to the master. That's what happens to a awakened being, someone who a liberated soul. The God liberated. They became free. They went to freedom. I mean, we have these words for it: enlightened being, awakened being. But okay, enlightened to what? Awakened to what? What is it they got awakened to? Is like they realized this story, this thing that the mind is projecting, and all from the time I was born, I'm this has been my only reality from the time I was born. How am I supposed to know there's another reality? Nobody gave me a manual. I didn't come with a manual telling me like, this is real, this is not real, da 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 da. So naturally, I have no idea. Everybody else is playing this thing. But few people here and there, they pop. They recognize it. And then the attention turns. Again, as the intention goes towards the source, you are not connecting so much to the world. You will go out there and enjoy its beauty and enjoy its pleasures, because you still have these five senses. So you have a great ice cream, and you go on a beautiful drive, and go on a beautiful swim in this gorgeous lake, and make love to this beautiful person, or eat this great spaghetti, the pleasure of senses. And you also see its ugliness and destruction and all the ugly stuff that is also equally happening in there. But you're indifferent into, it's not your identity. You don't identify to it. You're free. You can go there and eat your great ice cream, but you're not identifying to the story anymore. You're free from the story. You've got freed. The world cannot scare you anymore. It lost its power over you. Otherwise, it's freaking scary. If you believe it and you dive into it, it's so scary and it's so mean and it's so vicious. And human beings do such ugly stuff to each other. And you're just wondering, like, how can they do this to each other? How would they do such ugly things to one another? You and I cannot imagine. It's not in our field of imagination. That's not how we were built, or it's our DNA to hurt other people or manipulate them or distraction or do the ugly stuff they do. This is not your reality, so you can't understand it. You're on the other side. So you're wondering why they can't be like you. But so the thing is a polar reality, both sides existing simultaneously together. You can't have one of them without the other. Whichever you have, the other one is coming with it. They're shadowing each other. They're each other's shadow. So there has to be an alternative. There has to be something which is greater or beyond both of them. And where is that thing? In India? Or it's in space? Where do you find that thing? Where do you find that thing which is beyond good and bad? Where do you find that thing that is above all of it? Where is it? Heaven? After this life? I don't want to wait for after this life. I want it now. I don't want a promissory note. Give me, oh, be a good boy for the next 40, 50 years. Go to work and pay your taxes and retirement and taking care of your children and grandchildren. And when you die, you're going to go to this place. No, excuse me. I don't want something deferred to another time. I want it now. If it's real, then I want it right now. I don't want to wait. So where is that thing? And the answer is you got to dive in. You have to go that direction, beyond the blah, 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 and beyond even your emotions, because your emotions are going to create barriers for you. They're going to fool you. So you're going that direction. And yeah, as I said earlier, in that direction, there's going to be patches of time that it's boring. There's no entertainment. So you have to go, you have to endure that. And you're going to be up and you're going to be down. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of challenges. There's going to be a lot of good stuff and bad stuff. You just have to keep cutting through. You keep cutting through and you keep going, keep going, keep going, keep looking at that direction. Look at it. Keep noticing it. And yeah, as you're getting closer and you're looking at it, it's pulling you too. So you have moments that you're really blissed out. You have moments that everything's quiet. You have moments like everything is perfect. Like you're in heaven. It's like, but don't get caught into this thing that I got it and I lost it. Don't get into that game. Because I've been there. I'm trying to help you. You don't waste your time. Oh, I got it, but I lost it. You can't lose it, because that's the same place that creates the thought for you that you lost it. It's kind of tricking you. You can't buy into that. You can't lose it. It's impossible you lose it. You're the source of it. It's generating from you. You can't lose that. You are the fountain. Don't look for the fountain. You are the very fountain. It's yourself. You don't need to look anywhere. You just need to chill out. It's the opposite of what they've been teaching us. Because especially the Western mentality, it's always do, do, do. You know, you have to do, you have to excel. It's like if you're in work, you're doing work, and you're in America, it's all about production. And if you're in LA, it's even more worse than probably anywhere else in the world, because it's all about more. I got to get more. I have to work harder. I got to accumulate more. It's all about that. So that means you have to put effort in it. That's the illusion. Yeah, okay. Have any questions? We only have 15 minutes left. Anybody? Yeah. So I will be heading to Europe on October 3rd. So I'm starting um, doing a tour in Poland, Warsaw. I'll be there for a week. Then I go to Hamar, Norway for 6 days. Uh, so if you're in Norway, you're interested to see me, you can contact my dear sister Hilde, Hilde Evenstad, or go to my website, zarathustra.tv. If you want to see me in Warsaw, it's easier for you, or it's cheaper for you, you know, it's more economical. You want to come there, you're welcome to. I love to see you. Uh, After Norway, I go to Stockholm, Sweden. I'll be there for a week. This year, I decided that I'm going to, there's a gentleman named Shantanu Deva. He's going to join me at all my 3 events in Stockholm. So events are going to be more bhakti based. It's going to be more of a theme of devotional singings. It's going to be very heart based. I mean, my events are very heart based anyway, but this time we decided it would be nice to mix it up, and let's just add some spice to it. So that's going to be interesting. And then after that, I go to Frankfurt. I haven't been in Frankfurt. Looking forward to. Hi, Ursula. Looking forward to it. Um, and in Frankfurt, this is the first time I'm going to be. I'm going to be teaching the level 1 of 5D quantum healing. I thought I'm not going to be teaching it, but it looks like I'm teaching it. It's coming back for some reason. Um, most of the events, I think the first event is the shamanic healing. Then there's a third eye activation event we're having on. It's a training program, and then followed by the 5D quantum healing training program. So also, I'm available for private sessions. If you want to see me, come and see me for a private session. And and I'm opening up the gateway for life training program. I decided that I will take a few students for life training program in by the end of 2022 and 2023, beginning of 2023, as well as I am having my uh, shamanic retreat in Tulum with my good old friend Baramji. Um, and that is happening in February. And that gives us a chance to really spend time together in a very relaxed way, even though we're going to be doing a lot of things, but the setting is really fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to that. Um, feel free to contact me. My email is info@zarathustra.tv. My social media pages are Zarathustra 5D. If you're viewing this broadcast on YouTube, uh, feel free to subscribe. Um, I'm posting videos regularly. So if you're on other social media pages like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, just reach out. Um, and if you have any comments, feel free to connect with me. Let me know what you're thinking. Best is always to email info@zarathustra.tv. That's the easiest, fastest way to catch me. If you're in Sweden and you have questions, you can contact my dear sister, Marie Angeltek. She's uh, taking care of our affairs in Sweden, or you can contact me directly. And if you're in Poland, you can contact Wudek from uh, um, the gentleman who's putting all of our events, Wudek and Elizabeth, and all of the information is on my website. So, oh, I forgot. And if you're in Germany and you need to have a local contact, Britta at Frankfurter's Ring, she's the lady who handles everything. So I look forward to seeing you. Um, I'm excited. I haven't done a tour for 2 years. And even though this summer I went to Sweden for a week or 10 days, the tours, they're different. They're fast, they're compact. Boom, boom, boom. You go from one country to another country. And I like it. I like moving around. I'm not the kind of person. If I stay in one place for too long, it just I get. It's like I get. It's I need to go on a tour, and my character is I need to be around people. I need to connect with people. As much as I like my private time and being silent and being quiet, is like if I'm not doing this and I'm not in contact, uh, it just I feel like my life is a waste, and I'm wasting my life. So look forward to seeing you all this coming month. So I hope you come and visit me. All right. Nice seeing you. Thank you for joining me. Sending you my love. And we do have our last academy, which is next Wednesday. So namaste. Where are you located, Ursula? No, she didn't understand. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, Heinz.
Record.
All of my friends from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, good connecting with you all, and look forward to connecting with you again. Namaste.